to see so much interest in this lab of tomorrow on non-communicable diseases, or also NCDs. I certainly would have preferred to welcome you all here in Accra in person today, but as we know, due to COVID-19, we all have to face new realities, restrict our personal freedom, and move much of our work and leisure activities to digital channels, as we did today. But even much worse affected are those people suffering from non-communicable diseases who are facing even higher risks now from COVID-19 infections. And even without COVID-19, NCDs are a major challenge for our societies. They cause about 71% of all death globally. Therefore, a joint approach is needed. I'm very happy to see here today that actors from more than 30 companies from the European Union, as well as Africa, and representatives from non-governmental organizations, the academia, and the public sector came together today. Again, thank you for taking time. Let me highlight, it is this mix of strong topic and market expertise, the focus on specific needs of those we want to reach, and a cooperative mindset that Lab of Tomorrow processes are built upon. It is the power of entrepreneurship, as we can witness globally and specifically in Ghana, where new businesses being both impactful and profitable have already supported our society significantly to move forward. We are convinced that bringing all of you together will support solving the NCD challenge with impactful and sustainable solutions. Let me thank the Ghana Health Service for supporting this initiative. And I would furthermore like to thank the Ghana Heart Initiative, as well as the GIZ Strategic Partnership Technology in Africa and the Lab of Tomorrow team for initiating and conducting this process. Let me conclude with these thoughts in mind. We wish you all the best for the upcoming 2 weeks, a great spirit and brilliant new solutions. We're confident we're on the right track. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dorothy Dinkelacre. Now we turn our attention to Dr. Mary Comey.
Hi, good morning, and thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Dr. Ifua Comey with the Ghana Health Service. I'm the Deputy Program Manager for the NCD Control Program. And it's really exciting to be here today. Indeed, building a business model for NCDs, we feel has been long overdue. And we are, when Juliet mentioned the whole idea, it brought back memories of concepts that we had discussed, but had not had the opportunity to follow up on a few years back. And to see that this is becoming a realization today is super exciting for us. We know that the true burden of NCDs has been, we think, is actually underestimated. And so are the implications, not just to health, but the socioeconomic and then the sociocultural implications as well. There are various gaps in terms of data collection across the country with respect to prevalence of diseases and various implications that have not fully been accounted for us as a country. And to see that we are looking at innovative ways of addressing this burden that we all agree is a huge issue, could not have come at a better time. Indeed, for us at the Ghana Health Service, the global pandemic is further putting a strain on health systems, on health workers, and we feel that concepts such as these provide huge opportunities for us to address our financial disbursement issues, and for us to be a part of this it gives us a different perspective to look at the traditional ways that we've been addressing NCDs as a country. We are happy to be here today, and we hope that at the end of these concepts, we all will be able to come up with practicable, usable alternatives to healthcare that would give us enough armor to address these concerns. So we are happy to be here. We are glad that various agencies, especially non-health agencies, have been brought to the table. Traditionally, in our parts of the world, unfortunately, health issues have been relegated to only health sector related agencies. And we feel that this is part of the issue, the problem, as to how come we haven't been fully able to realize the various goals that we have set. Health goes way beyond the health sector. So we are happy to be here. Thank you so much. And we look forward to all the concepts that will be developed. And we are glad that we are also here at the table. Thank you so much. And we wish everybody a very successful deliberation.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. Thank you, Dr. Comey. Very encouraging words there. As Dorothy was saying, it's unfortunate that we are doing this online and it may be inconvenient, but then we have to remember all the people who are suffering with NCDs that will benefit from this effort. And also from Dr. Comey that business solutions or sustainable business solutions to NCDs is long overdue. So thank you so much for encouraging us this morning. It's a little awkward because if we were in person, you hand over the mic and we'll clap for you and then you will get off the stage. So it's kind of odd doing these transitions in the digital realm. But thank you once again, and to our speakers, Ms. Dorothy Dinkel-Laker, Head of Development Cooperation at the German Embassy, and Dr. Mary Comey, Public Health Specialist and Deputy Program Manager for the NCD program. Okay, so we're transitioning now to a little activity, energizer activity to, get the blood flowing, if you will, or the mind in the body or the mind. So I'll turn it over to Jonas.
Yes, hello. Also warm welcome from my side to everybody. I'm here with like two screens, so it might be a little bit funny. It's like a TV show, don't know what to look at first. Anyway, I'm very happy that everybody joined actually for our sprint now. And I'm really looking forward to, seeing everybody in the different teams, seeing what kind of solutions you came up with. I think it was very well phrased before to actually pinpoint at the fact that we need to have a look at the problem of NCDs from all kinds of perspectives, not only just from health perspective, but also from players who not directly maybe in the health sector, but who maybe are entrepreneurs and who have a different look at it. Anyway, we have so many people actually in here, and I quickly want to share my screen with you. Perfect. Okay. So what I wanted to highlight is actually how many companies we have involved in here. So we have also MyShemeds, which I introduced before. We have Triggerize with Cardiolize, but we also have some companies such as, let me check it out here, for example, Bayer. I think everybody knows this name, or everybody knows this name, Novartis. So this is really truly international. We have Boca Health as well. So we're not just companies from Europe or Ghana, but we also have other companies. And, it was already highlighted by Ms. Dinkel-Laker, actually, COVID. COVID is a reality that we have to deal with right now. Oh. So you see a great world map here, right? And I will just zoom in here. Kojo and Brian have already put their landmarks here. And actually, the big question that I have for you now is, where in the world, if you had a wish-free, you know, genie in the bottle, where in the world do you want to be now? Oh, this is going fast. I see you've been practicing your Mura skills over the course of the weekend. Amazing. All right, very good. Oh, wow. Oh, I see David Hutchful, Maldives, very nice. Maybe David, can I quickly hand over the word to you, because you're also one important player in our team, to also say a quick hello from your side and why you want to be on the Maldives.
Yeah, sure, definitely. My name is David Hutchful. I'm with Gordon and at Design Thinking Ghana, and been helping out in different ways for this innovation sprint, preparing for the innovation sprint. I would like to be in the Maldives. That's where I went to for my honeymoon, and it was just absolutely incredibly beautiful. Very peaceful, and actually the internet was super strong, even though we were on these tiny little islands that looked like the next wave would completely submerge it. If I could be anywhere, if I could, yeah, well, I guess we could travel now, but I think that would be one of the first places I'd love to go to and spend some time.
Okay, lovely story. Thanks, David. Thanks. Wow, I'm just going to jump a little bit from one to the other. Then we have Iris, also in Australia. Iris, where are you located right now, and why do you want to be in Australia?
Hi, I'm in Berlin right now. And yeah, I was actually thinking about the beach, so Australia.
Okay, all right. So longing for some beaches. All right. From a doctor, and you want to be in Ghana. Can you, sorry, in Accra or Ghana? I don't know. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'm currently, as I speak to you, I'm currently in the UK. And yeah. I must be honest with you, with all the lockdowns, COVID variants, and all of that, I just can't wait to get home.
Get some comfort food, and I don't know, get some warmth. I feel you. Definitely. It's like I'm missing seeing people, being around people. Just I don't know. So let's see. We have somebody. Okay, we have Mary Lou in Lisbon. Mary Lou, tell us about yourself and about Lisbon, maybe.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Mary Lou from Trigger Eyes. I am based in Amsterdam, and same as Precious from the Seychelles. I picked Lisbon because it's pretty close, and the weather is quite nice, and I like Portuguese food.
Yeah. Bam, bam, bam. Very nice. I'm also a big fan of Lisbon. Okay. So I'm zooming out a little bit to cut it short, but we have a strong cluster here, definitely in Ghana, which totally makes sense. Then we have Foster, who wants to be in Brazil, with people who want to be in the UK, with people. Kofi wants to be in Japan. Nice. Foster moved. Maldives moved. Somebody moved Foster to Maldives, which is in Russia, but okay. And then we have people in Australia. That's interesting where everybody wants to be, but I think what became clear also, just like talking to the people now, is that people are all over the world. We have Turin, we have UK, we have Nairobi, we have people based in Accra. I mean, this is truly a global sprint here. And it totally fits the topic, because I mean, NCDs are not just a topic in Ghana, right? But also, as we've seen in all kinds of other countries, I think if we go over here we also have some NCD problems, and all over. So I think it's really fitting that we have all these different perspectives, also maybe different experiences from different countries, but also from different companies, and bringing that together, I think it's just great. So I hope you had fun doing this little warm up, and I think it's a good mapping of where we are and what we're doing. And with this, I would hand over to Gordon again.
Thanks so much, Jonas. That was a very nice spirited start for today. So that's wonderful. Jonas, could you put your screen on? There you go. Wonderful. Okay. So let's jump right in. According to our schedule, our plan for today, where's this? We're going to touch on a few things we talked about on Friday, and then tell you the little backstory to how we got to the sub-challenges. So that's what this segment is. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I have about 10 minutes or 12 minutes for this. All right, so we just got our welcome words. On Friday, we also told you about the nature of the sprint with companies from Europe and Africa. We have a company from Nigeria, for instance, so it's not just from Ghana. And Jonas already went through the logos. I have to say that we didn't find every single logo. So if your logo is not here, please forgive us, give it to us so we can put it on. The letters are also arranged according to teams. The other thing to note is that on Friday, I failed miserably to introduce my co-pilot, David Hatchful, call him David H, because we have David Brand as well. And he introduced himself, but the reason why I'm bringing this up again is that he will be monitoring and responding to questions in the chat as we go along for today. And on some other days, he would also be doing input sessions. All right. So if you see David vigorously responding to your questions, you know why. Okay. So it's extremely important to celebrate this cultural exchange, if you will, and I don't want to belabor the point, but as you realize from the last time, what we're doing here is that we're starting from development challenges and we're going to sustainable business. Our speakers did mention this, and it's also important to mention that we're taking a market-based approach, also co-creative. So you will see a lot of design thinking, design problem-solving approach, and also being user-centered. User-centeredness is extremely important because we have experts here. We have companies that have products in the NCD spaces. So it's going to feel a little weird to be talking about things you're already doing and doing well. But the invitation here is to perhaps take another perspective, right? Take the user's perspective, to take the, this is NCDs in Ghana. So what can we learn from the NCD user, patients, and also stakeholders in Ghana that could inform what you're doing and already doing very well, right? So user-centeredness is extremely important to keep in mind. All right. And then, of course, on Friday, we also talked about how the Lab of Tomorrow process is set up. So 3 main areas you can think of: understand, innovate, and incubate. Our also talked about the actors, right? So I'm running through this because we already talked about it, and it's just for refreshing your memory. So we have the local GIZ team, and then companies from Europe. We don't mention enough, but the Ghana Heart Foundation, it's a strong local partner, and also the Ghana Health Service. And then, of course, the companies from Europe and other partner countries. And then, of course, our experts from both sides, from Europe and from Ghana. And then we have investors from Africa. And then we have investors who will be coming in, as you will see on the program. We have pitches on the 12th. We have investors who are coming in. Remember, market-based approach, right? So we have people who come in to help sort of nudge you on and to show interest in market solutions that they can potentially invest in down the line. And then, of course, we have the design thinking agency. In this case, it's Design Thinking Ghana, which is helping, and together with Jonas, actually J2C, which is helping the two of us are developing the design side of things. All right. So moving on. So as Dorothy already said, this would have been an in-person session, but because of COVID, we're doing it would have been a 1 week in-person session, but because of COVID, we're doing a 2-week online sprint. So that could be a lot, but we hope that you bear with that, and we hope that you can also connect with the challenges that we have, and together we can achieve the objectives. So I'm going to talk briefly about, well, just before I go into that, I made the point about using the design approach. I'm going to talk about the two areas, understand and innovate, and then Jonas is going to talk about incubate. The point to note is that we're taking more of a design thinking approach. This here is what we call the double diamond process or model. So if you have a problem on the far left, you're going to a solution on the far right. And in the middle, you have what we call a point of view, right? And when you start, there is divergence because you're collecting so much information. And then at some point, you have to start drilling down to that point of view. When I talk about understand, you realize that we already started this divergence process of collecting information and narrowed down to some point of view. This is what you have in the insights report, but we're going to invite you to own it, right? So you are going to go back a couple of steps and evaluate what was developed, bring your own perspectives and recreate the point of view. And then right after that, actually from tomorrow, we will start develop, which is ideating, coming up with concepts for that point of view, or how might we? And again, the frame opens. And so as the frame opens and you have a number of ideas, you spend Thursday and Friday prototyping, and over the weekend if you can. And then by Tuesday, because Monday is a Ghana holiday, by Tuesday, you have some sense of what the solution could be that you will bring into day 4 on Tuesday. So we're taking a design thinking frame to it. It has this dance of divergence and convergence, and it's called the double diamond, something to keep in mind. Okay, everything is going on so far. You are still there, you can still hear me. Okay, good. So now let's talk briefly about how we got to the sub challenges. Okay, we started by identifying 4 main drivers to NCDs. I think it was from some UN report or something like that. And then we had a couple of sessions with experts to scrutinize them, to sort of explore the different sort of how they apply locally. And then we started primary research, talking to NCD patients, to doctors, to pharmacists, to other healthcare professionals and other stakeholders. And then we synthesized all of that insights. We synthesize all of that into the sub challenges. So I'm going to show you a couple of slides. You can think of it as a movie, like a movie show, right? Because it's going to be very quick. It's just like, screen, but to take you through that process. All right. So forgive me, it's not going to be slow. The reason is that it's just to sort of synthesize you. But these are the 3 main steps we took at the understand stage, which is where we got the sub-challenges from. And the sub-challenges are then presented in the insights report, which you have a link to. All right, so here are the different stakeholders that we spoke to, okay? So healthcare professionals, general public, pharmacists, doctors, and so forth. We got a lot of information. And out of this information, we highlighted some key areas also in response to the 4 main sub-challenge, drivers to NCDs. And then we derived what we call fields of opportunity that we could explore. And then we took these fields of opportunity into another round of workshops, and we call those challenge framing workshops. And so we had 4 fields of opportunity. One was delivering accessible and affordable care. The other one was on expanding NCD detection and management outside of hospitals, clinics, and so forth. And then we have 2 that we put together, driving behavioral change that leads to prevention of and greater awareness, and then increasing adherence to treatment protocols for chronic diseases. So this is what we did in November. And so for Challenge Framing Workshop 1, we invited experts in to explore the framing Workshop 2 as well, and Workshop 3. So forgive me, it's the movie show. All right. And then what we did at these workshops is that we created personas for these fields of opportunity. And then we'll create 2 personas, one for a low-end user, and then another one for more of a sort of a B2B area, person who relates more to the business side. And then we, together with the experts that we brought into the room, we created journey map. We created journey maps for these personas. So there's a journey map for the one persona who is an NCD patient, and then this is a journey map for the persona who is a pharmacist. And out of this exercise, we created a point of view. So here is a point of view for the NCD patient, which says that he's a mid to low income hypertensive who needs access to cheaper drugs because traditional alternatives come with unguided care that can worsen his condition. These point of views helped us start to get a sense of who we are focusing on. This was the point of view for the pharmacist. Mind you, this was only one field of opportunity, all right? So from the point of view, we went to how might we. Remember, the point of view is from the perspective of the user, but then the how might we, you can think of it as the perspective of the design team. How might we provide the need of that particular user the way it's expressed? So the how might we's are the sub-challenges. So we got 5 how might we's, and then 3 deliberation brought it down to 4. All right. So the last slide I want to leave it on is the structure of the research that you see in the insights report. It's focused on key broad. These are the broader areas of the how might we statement. So the target group, the unmet need, a key behavioral or market constraint. This is often what makes the problem difficult to solve, because people have a certain behavior that's hard to crack, or there is some market constraint that makes it difficult to deliver the behavior. And then whether there is an actual need in the market from all the research, that the solution corridor does not have restrictions, and then there are also no regulations that makes it difficult to deliver the solution. So that is how you got your sub-challenges that we're working on now. And then when we go into the next segment where you're working in teams, you will get the opportunity to go back to the insights report, scrutinize them a bit more, and create your own point of views and how might we as a team to then take forward with. I'm rushing because I didn't lose track of time. Back to my time board to see how I was doing. Hope I did well. Jonas? Yeah, okay, good. So the next part here, so innovate is where we are, right? We are doing the innovation sprint now. So understand is what I told you about. Innovate is where we are. We've talked about the composition of the teams and so forth. Please, if you have questions, put them in the chat and David can start answering them. But I'm going to hand over to Jonas to talk about the last part, incubate.
Yeah, cool, great. Slide, please. So just as an overview here for you to see, this is the overall how the Lab of Tomorrow process works, right? We have understand target group. This is everything that Gordon was talking about. Ideate solutions. This is actually what we are doing in this innovation sprint, right? And what you come out with at the end of these sprints? Well, what you come out with is not a venture yet. It is an idea of a venture. It is a set of ideas and assumptions that you have that you think are valuable in the market or that are valuable to the users. You will have to verify these assumptions, right? And you will have to test those in the market to see whether they're actually valuable to the users, whether they work, whether they create income, whether the business model is viable, you know, all these things you have to actually find out. And this is something that you would need to do in the incubation phase, in the business incubation phase, with which is 3-month coaching, but more than just coaching is actually you working on a 3-month. So when you come out of the innovation sprint, you will have lots of questions, right? You will present a pitch with a sustainable business model canvas, and an incubation roadmap to the investors. You know, but all these are just ideas that you have. It doesn't mean they are true. It's just based on your assumptions. It's just important to notice, right? And when you feel like, okay, our idea is very good, and we as a team that is working together, we are motivated and we're dedicated, and we can say we're committed to actually doing this or bringing this venture to life, you know, then you can apply for the incubation phase. And then, you know, this is basically the difference of waking up in the morning. Everybody does that every day, and getting out of bed, you know, that is the hard part of the day. And this is actually building the venture. This is the hard part that you need to do. And this is what you will do in the incubation phase. So first, application for incubation phase. Deadline is the 29th of March. Then we will have a review of the applications, and then we have final selections. And then you will be potentially admitted to the incubation phase, which is 3.5 months. And then after that, we have a final online pitch in July 2021. So this is something where I think we can switch to the next slide. Exactly. So these are the things that you will get in this incubation phase. So you will get business design coaching. Like I said, you want to refine the value proposition, you want to refine the offer, you want to refine the feasibility of your idea, you want to refine the viability in the market. All of this, excuse me, will be something that you can do during the incubation phase. You will probably build some prototypes, test them. You will probably also develop a funding strategy. You know, how do you actually get money to the initial money that you know to kick off this business, and then also have pitches to other investors, and hopefully get some funding. But this is not all. The business coaching is one thing you get, but then you have some extra benefits, which are in-kind support for best ideas, which are funded by the GIZ. So that could be training, certification, logistics support, could be product development, for example, if you need to coach something, could be business plan drafting, all these things that you might not directly can do in your team yourself, but you can then actually take these in-kind supports, and there's a total value of up to 10,000 euros per team. No payout, you know, it's really in-kind services only, important thing. So this is not the venture funding, but this is really just the funding for in-kind support. And yeah, the method of contracting and service provision will be according to GIZ regulations. For that, don't talk to me, talk to the people from GIZ. They have all the knowledge about it. Why is that? It is because GIZ is part of the Ministry of Economic Development, or is funded by the Ministry of Economic Development, and the LOT is one initiative of the GIZ. So therefore, you know, there's tax money involved. So we have to follow the GIZ regulations. Okay, then next slide, we're going to talk about the application and the selection criteria, just to give you a little bit an idea of where we're heading to. Application will be done with sustainable business model canvas, incubation roadmap with activities, team roles, resources, and a proper pitch. So do it in the way that the people can understand it, that it is that people will actually also buy into the idea. It is very entrepreneurial. It means you will have to convince somebody that this is actually good. And you shouldn't be the only one believing in this idea, but everybody else needs to do this as well. Then in the selection criteria, I stressed this before, it is important that you have a strong team. Right? You want to have a team that is able to carry out this project. And then you will also need to have an incubation roadmap. And then always there's a focus on social and environmental impact of the solutions, kind of inherent in the sustainable business model canvas. But I want to stress it again. There's a dedication to the SDGs. And this is something that will also be considered when selecting the different venture ideas for the venture incubation phase. So, and then there's desirability of solution, financial viability, and obviously also the jury feedback from the investors and from the mentors that we have on Friday. So Friday, seems close, but there is kind of a uphill battle in between, because the next days it will be very intense for you. I can promise that. It will be maybe a different work mode for you, because you have not worked with Mural, but you will work with new people. And we have a very strict schedule on what to do when. And this is actually something that will be introduced by Gordon now. Actually, Gordon, one thing, I want to give the opportunity for people to ask some questions, because we're basically shooting slides at you.
Yeah, we actually do have a Q&A session now. So
yeah. So everybody, please, shoot some questions at us. I hope we can answer them. Otherwise, if we can't, then maybe Eric, who's I think still on the call, might be able to answer it, or David from GIZ. So please. Yes, Joseph.
Joseph. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you very much, Gordon and Jasper. I wanted to find out if the teams here in this innovation sprint that has to apply together for the incubation.
Joseph, you cut off. Oh no, never mind.
I got it. Yeah. You can actually, the teams should apply together. You're developing an idea together, so you're all the owners of this idea. So the team or a team from the core team should apply together. Yes, it's not that you can just take the idea and run with it, but you would need to ask the others if they're fine as well. Okay, so Joseph, I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yes, please, Jonas.
Yes, great. Thanks, Joseph. Jan from Boehringer Innovations.
Hi, Jonas. Hi, everybody. I have a question regarding the ideas or the business models that you're looking for at the end. Is it more that you're looking for self-sustainable business ideas? So actually commercial business, so like a business that is running and creating money at the end of the day, maybe not in the initial phase, but later on? Or are you also looking to constantly funded initiatives? So for example, I don't know if you have some testing scenarios for NCDs that are funded by some kind of governmental entities, or is it rather self-sustainable?
Very good question. I think we can come out with a variety of ideas, but to be 100% precise, I would ask Eric and David whether this is also an opportunity.
Sure, I'll answer that. Thank you for the question. In general, we're looking for sustainable solutions. I mean, the government might be your customer in the end, but we would look for solutions that are really able to sustain themselves and not dependent on tax money directly. Really, right? If the government is your customer, then it's fine. But yeah, you should be able to live from the payments from your customers.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Some more questions.
This is George. If the solutions are going to be developed by the teams, who is going to own it and who is going to pitch it to investors, if possible?
The team. Yep, the team will present it to the investors. George, okay.
Just maybe one question from my side.
Yes.
As I see some really great corporate partners and pharma companies here as well. What's their role here, as they have their own a lot of initiatives which also I've been engaging with, and are they here more as individuals behind the solution who could bring some value, or they also represent some interest from the big partner or the pharma company themselves as well? So maybe you would comment on that.
Yeah, I can definitely. So they're not here as private person. Everybody's here who's coming from an organization and on behalf of the organization, also from the multinational organizations such as Bayer or Novartis. The idea is to create joint ventures. So to potentially bring some technology from a larger player together with maybe entrepreneurial network in the area, or maybe also another solution. So the idea is to also come up with ventures, and it can be joint ventures. So nobody's here just for the fun.
That's really great, because that's
yeah.
then another option, which not only what you mentioned, but also because they have resources and maybe some wider network as well, if they see some value. So it's great.
Yeah, definitely. Yes,
if I may,
please.
If I may ask a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something to what Jan said with regards to governmental markets. I mean, they are quite significant. So I'm not sure whether this, putting this self-sustainable business against tackling or addressing institutional markets. Institutional markets are very important. I mean, look at education. Yeah, I mean, is there a market for educational products where you have consumers buying in? I don't know. I mean, we have to check this out. But what I can see is that there is already a huge market in the institutional sector. So I would not put this as a contradiction here.
Okay, yeah, thanks a lot for the clarification. My experience, I've been working in Ghana on some project, but they were all commercial project, let's say, social entrepreneurship, but self-sustainable somehow. And my feeling is as well that it would be really nice to get some insights from you how to engage with governmental entities, to create some more ideas, because building up a new business in Ghana, my feeling it's quite tough if the economical environment is not that they're waiting to spend money on new things. So yeah, probably you need to be clever, connecting clever ways with some organizational entities as well.
Yes, smart products.
Okay. Great. I would take a question from Elvis, who has his hand up. Please go ahead.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity, to be part of this. I just wanted to find out if there are clear goals on how many ventures that you envisage will need to be set up, say in Ghana. Are there clear expectations about that, as an end goal? I'm just asking because I've been part of a number of initiatives where it seems the goal was just to action or, actually teach design thinking and be sure that people have actually grasped the concept. But the end goal of actually having ventures set up, I think, wasn't as strong as it is to deliver on KPIs, on making sure that the people have been trained, information has successfully been passed on, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, thanks. A very, very important point, this, and I want to stress this again. It is about creating ventures here. It's not about creating somebody who knows design thinking. We are method agnostic. We have used lots of things from design thinking, but doesn't mean we're here to all learn design thinking. I mean, there are many people here who have heard about design thinking, who have applied design thinking. This is really about creating solutions and creating ventures. In terms of how many, I think it was also one of your questions. I have to admit, I don't know any exact number, but I would then hand over to somebody from the GIZ LOT team. So my assumption would be, before somebody speaks, I would say my assumption is, if there are as many good ideas that there are, will be led into the incubation phase. But
yeah, I mean,
please.
Yeah, I mean, there are 6 teams, so if you could have 12 ideas, why not? But I think at minimum we're expecting 6 ideas, and I want to echo the point that this is not a design thinking training program. As Jonas was saying, there's actually we have investors on both ends who are involved. We have mentors who are involved. It's quite the focus on actual ventures coming out is really strong. So I just want to stress that before we hand it over to anybody on the GIZ team to talk about potential number of ventures coming out.
Yeah, I can take that question. This is David Brandt of the Lab of Tomorrow team. Exactly, it's right that we are going to take as many teams to the incubation as are motivated and coming out with promising business ideas from this sprint. So there's no restriction in the number.
And as it's, sorry again, Eric, 6 teams, yeah, we hope for 6 ventures to be joining the incubation phase, of course. I don't think it could be more because it's not much time, right? In your teams, you will have to focus on one idea. I mean, you will have several first, but in the end, you have to focus on one, which you present in the end, and we will decide upon this idea and the business model, which will be able to join the phase. But yeah, at best, it would be 6. 6 out of 6 would be cool.
Yeah, Chimo, you had a question already in the chat, right? You want to pose it again?
No. Thank you for answering it. I think I have a follow-up question regarding the potential ventures and business opportunities. And while I think the 6 teams sounds fantastic, I'm curious if there's opportunity outside of the 6 ventures or team ideas for cross networking, because I think this group of organizations is fantastic, and I can see even future opportunities for synergies coming from it. So I was curious how much that is allowed, and then if it's supported in any way.
In terms of networking with the other participants who are part of this sprint,
correct,
feel free to do so. I think it's a great opportunity for people coming together. We will also, at the last day after our pitches, we will have a wonder session. I don't know if anybody knows this tool. Basically, it's a tool where everybody can just jump in and you can talk to anybody that you want to talk to. And please do so. We see the Lab of Tomorrow as also a platform for bringing motivated people together. We don't own anybody who's like here, or we don't own the credentials of anybody who's on here, but it is just bringing people together so that they can freely solve problems, I think.
Right. Yeah. And on day 6, we actually have some team formation activities. that's supposed to help you to get to know each other a little bit more. You put your superpowers, professional and personal superpowers, on your team boards from last Friday. So we hope that this process will help you connect a bit more and will push team formation further on day 6. So many opportunities to sort of continue to network and also open up your networks to other team members.
Okay, we have some more. Okay, so there was a question, are we supposed to concentrate on particular NCDs and proper solutions, or we are to come up with ideas to tackle all the NCD diseases? You are assigned to one team, and one team will focus on a specific part, and this is defined in your sub-challenge. Then, will the teams have access to legal advice for possible post-incubation legal body setup for the venture social enterprise? I would direct you to the part of in-kind services here, Stefan. Okay, yeah. Oh, David, you answered the question of Ukeme. Okay.
Yeah, David is answering them, yeah.
Yeah, great. Some more questions? No?
I have a question, Jonas.
Please. Hi, Franka.
So the current slide says that for the selection criteria, will be selected based on the first item is team. I want to know, like, what are you looking for from the team? Is it that ability to work together, or the participants? What are you looking for?
There are different factors to the team. One thing is that people are really truly committed to the team, that there is the ability in the team to carry out this product idea or this venture idea, right? If you only have programmers, for example, maybe you want to have somebody who has a marketing background or something like that. So there will be also based on the skill set of the people in the team. That will be one of the criteria for it. And any more, Eric or David? Do you have some more criteria on team level?
Oh, you got that quite right. It's just important exactly that you have all the, that you're committed and have all the abilities that is needed to bring such a solution forward to the market.
Okay, great.
Well, it's more important than the solution often sometimes, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think so too. Franka, is that correct? Question answered?
Yes, but I'm wondering, we were kind of put in the teams. So
yeah, there will be, okay, very good point. Thanks for raising it. So maybe you feel like, oh, I'm in the wrong team here. Maybe it's better to contribute to another idea. We will have a point throughout the sprint at the end of week 1 where there is the opportunity to change your teams. It's not an easy process, right? But there will be the opportunity. And so, yeah, there will be one point. But because it can be that, because of the group dynamics in your team, the idea that will be followed through with is something that you cannot contribute to, or you don't have any interest in contributing to, but you want to contribute to something else, right? Then we would allow a regrouping at that point.
Thank you. I love my team, by the way. I'm just because you mentioned, for example, marketing. I'm thinking, okay, so everybody in the team works with NCDs.
Yes.
So that business, marketing, sales aspect might not be found in the small team. That's what I'm driving at. But I love my group.
Oh,
Thank you,
Franka,
Franka.
I'm so glad you said this. You put me into panic mode here,
Okay.
I have one. I think it goes
please.
to wasn't this for GIC?
So, so obviously the GIZ is the German, the International German Corporation for the German Corporation for International Cooperation, I think. Sorry, and it is their mission to do those things. But to elaborate on this a little more well-versed, I would say, and then I would hand over to Eric and David, or maybe it's a good idea if Eva is also on the call here, then to hand over to Eva to also say, why is GIZ doing such things?
Eva, are you there? Otherwise, maybe I'm taking this. Thanks for the question, but really, the goal of the GIZ is, to put it bluntly, is to save the world, right? We're really trying to overcome. Looking at the faces of Petya, I'm now shocked by what I've said. So sorry about me breaking up. But yeah, we are focused on the NCDs, the Sustainable Development Goals, which we want to help achieve. And that's really the goal of the GIZ. So we just want to help overcome challenges all over the world. And we don't have a business interest ourselves.
Yes, I agree with Eric. Our goal is impact here, right? And that's why we are interested in having as many good business ideas as possible and in supporting as many good business ideas as possible.
And maybe one last question. So over the previous years, has this always been the mode, or things changed because of COVID? Has it always been you're looking for joint ventures, or in previous years it's been just anybody who has a solution?
It had been venture building always. If you refer to joint ventures, are you saying that, for example, joint venture of a multinational and an entrepreneur, or what are you referring to if you talk about joint venture?
Well, I mean, it's like group of entrepreneurs being put together as a team.
Yeah. So has always been the goal to create venture teams, yes, from day one. First Lab of Tomorrow was in Zambia, and there you also had venture teams. I think even the solutions are still in place back then, from back then. Yes, so that was always the goal. Okay.
All right.
Gordon.
Looks like very good questions. So
yeah.
There's one more.
Yes.
Right.
I don't know whether this has already been asked, but so almost everybody on the team, they have their own company, they have their own thing they're doing. How are they expected to commit to a venture team where basically their focus is supposed to be 100%?
Good question.
You go ahead, Gordon.
No. I was just going to say that is definitely a lingering question, and I think as you can point to other, and David as well, you can point to other Lab of Tomorrow programs from other sprints, and maybe Leopold can chip in as well. But I think that let me pivot to you, Jonas.
Yeah, so when you create these solutions, it might be, for example, you're a startup with a certain technology. You're not expected to do something that is not in your interest, but it is expected that you bring in what you have to bring into a certain venture, and if you feel like this is also meaningful to you. And that could be, for example, we had E-Ray. There was then, I gave this quick introduction about this milk not go bad or something it was called, right? That this cooling box, so E-Ray was making cooling boxes before. So basically they just extended their product range on that part. For other parts, it it always is then something on the side. When you're an entrepreneur, I would advise you to really think about, oh, is this benefiting my existing startup, or is it not? You know, and really think wisely about it, because it's no use to anybody if you are saying, oh, I'm committing to this, but then you don't have time because you cannot, like, I don't know, divide yourself into two person, right? So think about that. There is no, you know, obligation to be part of a venture team. You know, it is supposed to be fitting for yourself. So like I said before, everybody is free to do whatever they want to do. This is a platform for bringing people together to create venture teams that are committed. But in the end, it is up to to everybody who's in these teams. We cannot make anybody do something, you know, that we want. But we definitely don't want teams that say they're teams and they're not actually not teams. that wouldn't help anybody.
I think probably the question has been a little bit misunderstood. I'm not talking about the commitment in this 2 weeks. Of course, everybody that took that decided to take part in it was committed that within these 2 weeks you're going to give it your all.
Yeah.
However, what is expected is that at the end of the 2 weeks we are going to have we are going to be able to come out with an idea that would be sustainable, that we can move it, we can take it going forward.
Yeah,
that is the point I'm trying to make. After the 2 weeks, after committing to the 2 weeks and coming up with an idea that is good enough to go forward with, okay. And also the fact that the members of the teams are people with different companies that are doing different things already. And so you cannot have one idea that fits all the companies. There has to be a general consensus among all the organizers, all the different members of the team to come up with one particular idea. Now, after the 2 weeks, after you have the idea that is sustainable, that can be sent, that can move forward. What happens with you being able to give this new venture that you've put together, giving it your all, and then being able to take it forward? Because doing a sprint is completely different from taking a business through an incubation phase and then basically making it sustainable and being able, it's a full-time job, basically. So that is where the idea is. As for this 2 week sprint, it's not a problem. Everybody is committed to it. But knowing how the business, how entrepreneurship is, and the fact that you need to put yourself to it, commit yourself 100%. How does that work when everybody that has been put into the group has a different venture that they are into?
So I think, Jonas, I think a good example from one of the Lab of Tomorrow programs would be good, right? I mean, this is the 11th, so clearly there are examples we can point to.
I can say in general as well, sorry to interrupt. But don't forget, Cloud, thank you for your question. It's smaller companies here, but don't forget there's bigger companies like Bayer. Depends, right? They can put in maybe 1 or 2 people, depending on how well this solution that was developed fits them, makes sense for them, makes sense for their marketing strategy or whatever. So depending, right? It's not 100, I mean, being part of such a team doesn't mean putting the whole business, the whole concentration on this one solution because it's a bigger company, right? And as well, it depends on what you can actually bring into the team to decide or to see how much time you have to invest, right? It's not only you depend that this solution or this potential venture or partnership is dependent on. And of course, as you said, you all have to come together to find this one idea. It's of course not the case that all of the companies in one team will together form the joint venture or the partnership for the incubation phase. Some companies will say, okay, that is a cool idea, but actually I don't see my role in this. I don't see the profit for me in this. So definitely companies will drop out of those teams after the sprint, and only a smaller part. Then again, adding more people to this team will only go into the incubation phase. So it will be an interesting process, and you'll see what you can bring in and if this works for you or not. Go moving forward. Did that help?
Yeah, Lord, and the other thing to note, I think he's on muting, but the other thing to note also is that you're working on a sub-challenge, not so much finding an idea that fits everybody on the team. You're working on an area that you're all interested in. So chances of coming up with something that has, that your company is interested in from one perspective are pretty high, even if it's not directly a venture that you will need to, take significant amount of time off of what you're working on to concentrate on.
Thank you.